We now move on to designing the input form. So this is where we're going to have the two drop-down fields, one for the country and one for the state. Now to make things a little bit easier, I'm going to use Emmet. So some little bits of shorthand here. Now if you don't have Emmet installed, remember that the script is provided at the end of the course. But if you want to follow along, if you've never used Emmet before, you might learn a thing or two here as well. I'll do it step by step. I won't do it all in one go. Yes, it is possible to write this complete form in one line, but it might be a little bit too complicated. So we'll take things step by step. Now the first thing I want to do is to create a div with a class of container, and that class is part of the Bootstrap styling. So to do that, we just simply type dot container. Inside that container, this is where I'm going to have the form. So to go inside the container, I have the right angle bracket. I then have the form. Now the form also has a class, so it's dot form dash and horizontal. And inside the form, I'm going to have two divs on the same level. So inside the form, so that's the right angle bracket, I'm going to have a div or two divs with a class of form dash control. Now there's going to be two of them, so we use the asterisk and then 2, and I'll press tab. Now you can see we're inside the form action here. Now for this particular script I don't need an action, but if you can imagine, this would probably be part of some larger form, in which case you would have an action in there. So I'll just leave that for the time being. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go inside each of these divs. I'm just going to break them open. So that one and that one. And the first div here, this is for the country. So I want a label to appear that says country. And then underneath that, I'm going to have another div with a select option in. So a little drop down. So to do that, we need a label. So again, using Emmet, we've got label. It has a class of column, small, 2, and on the same level as the label, and to do that we use a plus. I'm going to have a div with a class of column sm4. Inside that div I'm going to have my select, so select, and this select will also have a class, so class of dot form dash control. And inside the select, we would have the option where we select the countries, etc. So I'm going to put an option in here, and I'll leave that as it is and just press tab. So there we have, we've got the label for, well, this is a label for country. And in here, next to this label, in between the label, this is what will appear on the screen for the user to see. So we're just going to type in country with a colon. Now, just to let you see what's going on so far, I'll flick across to the browser, www, and there you can see we've got country and we've got this little drop down here. Now looking at this, it looks like I've made an error because this styling isn't right. So let's flick across and have a look. And there it is, div class form control. That shouldn't be control, it should say group. So that should be group, and this one here should be group as well. I'll flick back and refresh, and that's a bit better. So we've got this drop down, and that's the country label there. Now this select here, let's fill in some details here. We've got the name. Now the name of this is just going to be country, and the ID as well. We'll just have it as country. The option value, let's just put in here, select country. So I'll give a little bit of a message, and we'll flick across and refresh. And there you can see select country with a little drop down. And obviously we haven't populated with any countries yet. We now move into the second div that we created down here. And this one here is for the drop down for the state. Now again, we need a label. So we'll have label. The label will have a class, and the class for this one is column sm2. Now on the same level again, and the same level means we need a plus, we're going to have a div with a class of column sm4. Inside that div, we are going to have a select, and that select will have a class, and the class for this one will be form-control. And obviously within that, we are going to have some options, but I'm going to leave those blank for the time being. I'm going to press tab, and that gives us the following code. Now the label is for the state, and in here we'll just say state, and that's what will appear on the screen. Quick refresh over here. There you can see the state with a drop down. Down here where we've got the select, I'm just going to break that down onto the next line and break that down as well at div. Now the select name here, well, this is for the state. The ID that I'm going to give this one is the state dropdown, and the class is form control, and we can leave everything as it is there. So quick recap, refresh. So there we go, we've got the country, we can select the country, and then obviously once we select the country, this will populate with the states. If you found this lesson useful, then remember to give a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to be notified about future lessons. Details about all the available courses can be found in the description, or you can visit the website at coding.academy.